Soldano Matamp Baghdad. So I discovered High on Fire around 2004. First thing I heard was this record, and shortly thereafter, this record, both of which to this day are two of my favorite albums of all time. I can remember sitting down with this one specifically because this was the first album that I got on CD and just thinking, I could not believe, the guitar tones, the massive sliding riffs, and the incredible drums and bass and vocals, like everything. It was just the perfect album, I thought, and still to this day feel like these two albums are just untouchable. But I was particularly obsessed with the guitar tone, just thought it sounded different. It wasn't quite like Sleep. Up to that point, I'd heard plenty of Sleep. We were already listening to Dope Smoker. The tone on these records just didn't sound like that. It had some of that Matamp character, but it was more aggressive, tighter, and I just wasn't sure why. And then maybe 7 or 8 years ago, I read an interview, I think it was from Premier Guitar, where Matt discussed how he got that tone. Basically, there were two key elements. One was, of course, the Green Matamp GT120 behind me, and the second was actually a Soldano SP77 rack mount preamp unit. You could see it in all the live footage from that early era, 99 to 2004. It's this pink rack mount unit that would be sitting on the Matamp or below the Matamp. And what he was actually doing was using the Soldano preamp to drive the Matamp as you would with a basically distortion pedal. And so he ran the Soldano High Gain Channel into the Matamp, into a power amp, and then out of a bunch of 412 cabs, just sounding absolutely massive. And that brings us to today, our latest collaboration with Nick Williams, formerly of Dunwich Amplification, the Baghdad. It is a full, faithful recreation of that Soldano SP77 rack mount preamp, driving a simplified emulation of the Green Matamp GT120. The Soldano side of the pedal features a full treble, middle, bass, and presence style tone stack with a gain control. For the meticulous emulation of the Soldano side of the circuit, each of the vacuum tubes was replaced with an op-amp gain stage, with frequency and gain being emulated and correlated as closely as possible. And then the simplified Matamp GT120 side features only two controls, one being depth, the other being drive. The depth controls the cutoff frequency of a high pass filter. Turned all the way down, you're gonna get a really tight percussive sounding tone, and as you ramp it up, you're gonna bring in a ton of low end, getting more of that typical fuzzy character that you'd find in the Matamp. And then this drive control will add even more overdrive and distortion. And I gotta say, this pedal just delivers an absolutely wide range of crushing tones, from just really tight and aggressive to blown out and fuzzy. Really, to me, the essence of that early High on Fire tone. And then you've got a volume to control the overall output level of the pedal. The pedal works great as an overdrive or distortion right into the front of your amp, or you can use it as a preamp and run it directly into an effects return or a power amp. One thing to note is that when you turn the drive control to 0, you remove the Matamp side of the circuit and you're left with just the Soldano SP77 preamp. Baghdad here is available for the very first time tomorrow, Friday, May 26th, over on our website, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, in limited quantities. Don't miss your chance to own this incredible preamp. This thing is truly crushing. It really emulates that early high on fire tone to a T, a tone I've chased for years. I'm obsessed with it. I know you're gonna be obsessed with it, so pick it up before they sell out.